Hello everybody, today we start our journey in learning HTML. So in this video I'm going to go over what HTML is and why it's important. So HTML, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is a text document. It's not a programming language. It's a text document that has a lot of meaning behind it and structure through the use of HTML elements. It's important because it gives web pages meaning and structure. It's very important for accessibility and SEO. So I'm actually going to not even start in a code editor or in an HTML document. I'm starting in a Google Doc to just show you sort of what I mean by structure, applying meaning. I do have sort of like a little article here about what is web design. I have a title for the article. I have some subheads, and they're all styled in a certain way that it gives it structure and makes it sort of like easy to read, right? I can clearly see where one section stops and another one begins. So this document has a lot of structure visually. What we can do is actually add meaning behind that structure. Within Google Docs, we have this feature where we can sort of apply like tags to our text. This is also in Microsoft Word as well. So I can apply a heading 1 to my title, and we'll go over heading 1s, heading 2s. But as you can see, as I'm starting to do this, something is going on over in the left-hand the window right here. If you don't see this, just expand the little hamburger menu if you're following along. If not, that's okay. So I applied a H1 to this, so now we can see our title right here. So let me apply a heading level 2 to this one. There we go. I'll apply another one. And then another one. And we can see a structure just start taking shape, almost like a table of contents. And that's pretty much what it is. We're using structure to apply meaning to the text. And we have to be very explicit with the HTML elements that we use because they all carry a lot of meaning behind them. Just to show you the importance of why we do what we do, I kind of showed you a little bit right here, but if we look at UserWay's website, so this is a web accessibility tool that you can add onto your website. You don't have to, but this is a good way to show why using the correct elements is really important. So we have some accessibility features here. I'm going to go to page structure. And now I can actually see the structure of the page, almost like a table of contents. So somebody who is maybe not using a mouse to navigate the site, they can tab through. Somebody who's using a screen reader or like a reader, they can tell their computer, go to the H1, and it'll bump them up to the H1 or down wherever it is. We also have landmarks. So we have main element, header element, sections, footers. These are all very important and carry a lot of meaning behind them. So this is why we're going to do it the correct way for accessibility reasons. It's also good for SEO. What's good for accessibility is also good for SEO. So let's copy all this. I'm going to copy all this text, and I'm going to actually bring it into an HTML, my VS Code. Don't worry about if you don't have this open. We'll start a whole new like little project in the next video. But this is what VS Code looks like, and I just brought in all my text, and all this text right now has no meaning applied to it. So in the browser, if I were to look at it, this is what all that text looks like. It doesn't even matter my spaces. I could come in and let me just I could come into my text editor and add as many spaces as I want. Refresh the browser, and none of that change made any difference because the spaces aren't what applies meaning. It's the HTML element themselves. So writing HTML, you are going to start with your greater than and lesser than symbols. So your triangle brackets. Let me just go ahead and zoom in, and I'll collapse this. So our greater than and lesser than symbols. So in these triangle brackets is going to be some sort of HTML tag to apply meaning. This is the title of my page, and I'm going to apply an H1 to it. So I'll just cut that and paste, and then close my triangle brackets. So this is going to be an H1, and I have to remember to close it. So now we have tagged this text to mean that this is a heading level 1. This is what the page is all about. If I save it and refresh my browser, now it starts to take on some stylistic change. You can always change how it looks, but now we start to see the structure take shape. I can mark this with a paragraph. So P for paragraph. And then save it, refresh my browser, and now this paragraph is now separated from all this other text that doesn't quite make sense to the browser because it doesn't have any of the HTML elements applied to it. So this whole thing is called an HTML element. It's comprised of the opening tag and the closing tag. Not every single HTML element will have a closing tag. We'll just learn about that as we go on. But for the most part, they do. If you forget to close it, so the closing tag always has a / and then your closing element. If you forget maybe that closing slash, it's not going to technically close, and it's going to think that everything after it is also an H1. This is a very easy mistake to make, which is kind of good, because it's an easy mistake to spot and then also correct. Just bring back in that / save it, whoops, and refresh. And there we go. So in the next video, we are going to start to learn about all the HTML elements. There is quite a bit. We are going to go over the ones that are most commonly used, that you will use over and over again, and it'll just become second nature. And I look forward to seeing you there.